Hey guys, welcome back to more political chatter. So for this 2024 election prediction, we're doing Larry Hogan versus Joe Biden. So Larry Hogan actually went on CNN and he said that there are a large chunk of Republicans who do not approve of Donald Trump, who are unfavorable of Donald Trump. He said that chunk is unheard in the Republican Party, and he was basically making the case for himself in the 2024 presidential election. And I personally really think that Larry Hogan will run in the 2024 election. So let's say he wins the Republican nomination. I really don't think that he can at all because there are more Trump and DeSantis Republicans than Hogan and Pence Republicans. But anyway, let's see how he does against Biden. And Joe Biden is unpopular, so he will definitely have a boost due to that. So let's get into some safe states for Joe Biden. That would be Hawaii, California, Oregon. We'll get to Oregon. Just the really safe California and Washington, D.C., Maryland we'll get to. And by the way, Larry Hogan is the governor of Maryland, so that's why Delaware will be safe. I'm sorry, I'm bad at this. New York, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont would all be safe for Joe Biden. And Illinois would all be the really safe states for him. Going to Oregon, Delaware, and New Jersey, these would all be, and Connecticut, these would all be somewhat competitive. Oregon, not so much. Delaware, not so much. But New Jersey and Connecticut, these are two states where the Republicans are not very pro-Trump. They are really they're pretty split, and they're more traditional conservative. They like Mitt Romney, whatever. So I think that these would be likely. I think that Connecticut would actually not be that much of a big win for Joe Biden. I think that that'd be like a 7 or 8 point win. I think that Larry Hogan would do very well here. Going to the state of Maryland, I will simply give it to Joe Biden just because of the fact that they tend to vote much more Democratic on the presidential level. I think that he'd be able to win it by a lean margin, even though Larry Hogan is extremely popular here as governor. Going to safe states for Oregon, he's definitely going to do well in traditional conservative states that really liked Mitt Romney, like Kansas, Montana, Indiana, Alaska. I think would go back into that safe column. But Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, North and South Dakota, Nebraska at large, Nebraska's first and Nebraska's third would all be safe for him. Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and West Virginia. South Carolina, he's not going to do that well, and because it is a Trumpian state, that'll be likely. Going to Iowa and Ohio, Hogan really will be able to hang on to it, regardless if he's anti-Trump, and he'll lose a lot of anti-Trump votes here. But the fact of the matter is, Joe Biden is much more unpopular than Larry Hogan, and a lot of Democrats will stay home for Joe Biden. But going to the state of Minnesota, I would say Biden would be able to hang on to that state. Of course, Trumpian Republicans will stay home for Hogan in every state. It really depends on how Trumpian that state is. But going to Florida, I think that this would be tilt Hogan. This is really Trump territory. He's so popular here, and the conservatives are extremely pro-Trump and radical here. So he would lose a lot of Republicans here, but ultimately he will be able to hang on, and he'll win it by less than a percentage point. But going to Georgia and North Carolina, where we have less Trumpian states and more traditional conservative states, I think that he'd be able to hold on to them by a lean margin. Texas, he'd do okay, and that'll stay likely for him. Going to New Mexico and Colorado, Hogan really doesn't have much here. These are two progressive states, and I think that Biden would be able to win them by a likely margin. Once again, going to Virginia, Biden really will be able to hang on to it, but I do think that this would be a very close race. I think that it will be decided by a lean margin. Going up to New Hampshire, this really is where Hogan will do well. I will give the state to Hogan by a tilt margin. He's going to do well in the Northeast. This is where he comes from. He comes from Maryland, and he will be able to do well here because of his appeal here in these rural areas, and he will return a lot of independence to the Republican Party. Going to, I think Larry Hogan will do, he's going to do well in the Northeast. That's why Delaware's close. New Jersey, Connecticut are all close. New Hampshire goes to him. So Maine, ultimately Biden will be able to win Maine at large, and Maine's first by a solid margin, but Maine's first by a likely margin. But going to Maine's second, that'll definitely go to Larry Hogan by a likely margin. Going to Nevada, but Nevada I will give to Biden just because there are a lot of Democrats here and Hillary was able to win it by 2.4%. But going to Arizona, this will definitely go to Larry Hogan by a lean margin. He will turn a lot of those McCain Republicans back to the Republican Party. Going to Nebraska's 2nd district, that'll go lean Hogan. And then finally the blue wall, I think all three would go to Hogan by a lean margin just because he does have a rural appeal and he'd return a good amount of white working class voters back to the party. So Larry Hogan does win with 311 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 227. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and I will see you all later.